Once, there was a cottage which overlooked a beautiful garden full of vegetables, the tastiest and juiciest that you'd ever seen. But this was no ordinary garden. Everything that grew within the high stone walls was magic. No villager dared step foot there, for it belonged to a powerful and fearsome sorceress. The man and woman who lived in the cottage were expecting a child, but the wife fell terribly ill. She beseeched her husband to steal some magic vegetables from the witch's garden, or she and their unborn child would surely be lost. Just one radish would not be missed, the man thought, gently plucking the vegetable from the ground. But he was wrong. The sorceress appeared silently before him, enraged to find him stealing from her precious garden. She began to summon a spell to punish the man quivering before her. But he begged her for mercy. He explained that he'd only taken the radish to save his dying wife and unborn child. The sorceress's anger cooled a little. She agreed to let him take the magic vegetable on one condition. He'd give her the child that his wife bore. With no other choice, the man agreed. The radish saved the mother and the child, but their joy was short-lived. True to her word, the sorceress appeared one night and took the baby. She hid the child away in a tower deep in the forest, where no one would ever find her. And she named her Rapunzel. Years later, a prince came riding through the forest. He was lost, having strayed from the path, when he heard the most enchanting song. Utterly entranced, he followed the voice and came across a tall, lonely tower. He could hear someone singing inside that same beautiful melody. He searched for a way to enter the tower, but it was in vain. There was nothing but brick and thorns. Suddenly, he heard a rustling in the tree line and swiftly hid. It was the sorceress. The woman approached the tower and called up, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair." The prince watched in disbelief as the longest hair he had ever seen cascaded down the side of the tower, and the sorceress began to ascend. Emerging from his hiding place, the prince vowed to return the following day. "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair," the prince called. Hearing the familiar words, Rapunzel let her hair tumble out of the window of her tower, and the prince began to climb. When he reached the top, Rapunzel gasped fearfully at this stranger in her tower. She had never met anyone but the sorceress. The prince introduced himself, and Rapunzel's curiosity overcame her fear. The prince told her all about the world around her tower, a world she had never seen or known. Rapunzel was spellbound. The prince returned the next day, and the next day, and every day after that. They became firm friends. With each visit, the pair got to know one another better and better. Eventually, their friendship developed into love. One evening after his visit, the prince descended the tower thinking blissfully of Rapunzel, when an angry blast of energy propelled him headfirst into the briars surrounding the tower. The prince clutched his face in pain. He couldn't see. He had been blinded by thorns. Admiring her handiwork, the evil sorceress sent the blind prince stumbling away into the forest, lost once more. She knew there was little hope of him finding his way back to the tower now, but the witch had to make sure. Rapunzel had not expected the sorceress to return so soon. She was horrified to learn that the witch knew of her meetings with the prince and had known all along. In her fury, the woman maliciously boasted what she had done to the prince, cackling as she revealed that Rapunzel would never see the man again. Distraught, Rapunzel ran to the window to search for her poor love. To spite her further, the sorceress took a long, sharp, glinting knife and cut Rapunzel's hair before vanishing. Now there was no hope of the prince reaching her, even if by some miracle he found his way back. However, a thought suddenly occurred to Rapunzel. She could use her severed locks to escape the tower herself. She tied one end of her hair around her bedpost and wrapped the other around her waist. Stealing a fearful glance at the ground far below, she took a deep breath and jumped. Catching her breath, Rapunzel found herself face to face with the prince's horse and calmed the agitated creature. Resolving to find the banished prince herself, she mounted the horse and began her search. She searched far and wide, determined not to give up. Finally, after many days and nights, she found the prince slumped at the foot of a tree, utterly forlorn. Seeing his ruined eyes and knowing he could not recognize her by sight, she began to sing. The prince immediately recognized the voice that had entranced him all that time ago. Disbelieving as he had lost all hope, he reached out for the hands of his beloved, and embraced her gratefully. Happier than they'd ever been, and finally free, the pair rode away to begin their new life.